Meet Marvin superhero? Kinda. Marvin wanted to be the best superhero ever. He had the powers, that's for sure. Super speed, laser eyes. He was even stronger than 10 elephants. There was just one tiny problem. Okay, maybe a huge problem. Marvin was clumsy. Like, really clumsy. Imagine a bull in a china shop. Now imagine that bull had superpowers. That's Marvin. He tripped over air. He walked into walls. Once he even fell up the stairs. But Marvin never gave up. He was determined to be a hero, even if he caused a little or a lot of damage along the way. He had a good heart, that Marvin. He just couldn't seem to control his own strength, or his own feet. Being a superhero is hard work. Being a clumsy superhero? That's 10 times harder. Just ask Marvin. One day Marvin saw a fire in a tall building. This is my chance to be a real hero, he thought. He zoomed into the building with his super speed, ready to save the day. But Marvin forgot one important thing. Doors. He crashed right through the wall, creating a Marvin-shaped hole. The firefighters were not happy. Another time, Marvin tried to stop a bank robbery. He zapped the robbers' guns with his laser eyes. Unfortunately, he also accidentally melted the vault door. Oops, maybe crime fighting isn't for me, Marvin sighed. One sunny afternoon, Marvin heard a little girl crying. Her cat, Whiskers, was stuck in a tree. Don't worry, Marvin said. I'll save your furry friend. Marvin used his super speed to climb the tree. He grabbed Whiskers, and promptly slipped, landing face first in a mud puddle. Whiskers, meanwhile, landed safely on a branch above. At least the cat's okay, Marvin mumbled, spitting out mud. Later that day, Marvin tried to stop a villain from robbing a bank. He used his laser vision to try and melt the villain's freeze ray. Instead, he melted the entire bank vault. The villain escaped with the money while Marvin was busy apologizing to the bank manager. Maybe I should stick to rescuing kittens from trees, Marvin said, feeling defeated. Some days it seemed like everything Marvin touched turned into a disaster, like the time he tried to help an old lady cross the street. He accidentally tripped over his own feet, sending the poor lady flying into a fruit stand. She wasn't hurt, thankfully, but she did have a banana in her purse. Maybe I should take a break from being a superhero, Marvin thought glumly. He went back to his apartment and tried to watch TV, but even that didn't go as planned. He sat on the remote and accidentally changed the channel to a reality show about competitive cooking. This is the worst day ever, Marvin groaned. Section 5. Marvin versus the Giant Robot, a comedy of errors. One day, a giant robot attacked the city. It stomped down the street, smashing cars and buildings. People screamed and ran for cover. This was a job for a superhero. A very, very careful superhero. Okay, Marvin, Marvin said to himself. Think, don't rush in. Come up with a plan. He thought for a moment. Then he tripped over a discarded hot dog and landed face first in a trash can. So much for planning, he mumbled. Marvin saw the giant robot about to step on a group of people. He had to do something, and fast. He took a deep breath and ran towards the robot. He was going so fast that he looked like a blur. Marvin aimed a super-powered punch at the robot's leg, and missed. Completely. He tripped over his own feet and crashed into a hot dog stand. Ketchup and mustard splattered everywhere. Section 6. When being a hero backfires, literally. The giant robot turned its head towards Marvin. Target acquired, it said in a robotic voice. It raised its laser cannon. This was not good. Uh-oh, Marvin said. He tried to get up, but he was covered in hot dogs and relish. This is not my day, he muttered. The robot fired its laser. Marvin closed his eyes, bracing for the worst. But instead of pain, he felt heat. He opened one eye and then the other. The laser beam had hit the giant vat of ketchup on the hot dog stand. The ketchup was bubbling and steaming. The robot kept firing its laser, but it wasn't hurting Marvin. It was just making a giant mess of ketchup and mustard. Marvin had to admit, it was kind of funny. Section 7. Even superheroes need help sometimes. The giant robot, confused by the lack of effect its laser was having, stopped firing. It seemed to be processing the situation. Marvin took the opportunity to free himself from the hot dog pile. He may have been covered in condiments, but he was okay. More than okay, actually. He had an idea. A crazy, messy, possibly brilliant idea. "Hey, robot!" Marvin yelled, grabbing a handful of hot dogs. "You want some of this?" He threw the hot dogs at the robot. They splattered against its metal face. The robot paused, its sensors going haywire. It seemed confused by the food attack. This was Marvin's chance. He looked around. Where was the robot's control panel? Just then, a little girl, the same one whose cat Marvin had almost saved, ran up to him. "He's weak there!" she shouted, pointing at a small hatch on the robot's back. "That's where his power source is!" Section 8. The Heart of a True Hero. Marvin grinned. "Thanks, kid," he said. He scooped her up and zoomed away from the robot at super speed, setting her down safely behind a concrete barrier. Then, he turned back to the robot. The robot was still distracted, trying to clean the hot dogs off its face. Marvin saw his chance. He zoomed towards the robot, dodging laser beams and ketchup explosions. He reached the hatch and ripped it open with his super strength. Inside, he saw a bunch of wires and blinking lights. Marvin knew what he had to do. He took a deep breath and yanked out the main power cable. The robot sputtered and sparked, then went completely still. Marvin had done it. The people cheered. Marvin, covered in ketchup and mustard, took a bow. "I told you I'd save the day," he said to the little girl. Section 9. What makes a hero? Hint, it's not perfection. Marvin may have been the clumsiest superhero ever, but he had a heart of gold, and in the end that's what really mattered. He learned that being a hero wasn't about being perfect or having the coolest powers. It was about helping others, even if you accidentally melted a few things along the way. So, the next time you see a superhero who's a little accident-prone, don't be too quick to judge. They might just surprise you. After all, it's the effort that counts, right? And when it comes to effort, Marvin was a superhero and a half, even if he did leave a trail of chaos in his wake.